Today, I'm here to talk to you about the rise of transhumanism and the mark of the beast, and to bring you a warning regarding both of these. In 2010, the Lord put transhumanism on my radar, and I've been watching this movement gain traction ever since. You might not be familiar with the terms of transhumanism and what it is about, but a simple look online, you can see that they say it's a philosophical and cultural movement that seeks to enhance the human experience through technology. And it says lots of really good things about transhumanism, such as envisioning a future where humans can overcome biological limitations, leading to improved physical and cognitive abilities. And it sounds like it has some quite good aims on the surface. Some of the major, all of your major world players are on board with transhumanism, such as Larry Page, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. And um, and they envision a future where they enhance their own, it's built on evolution, the concept of evolution, that we can now become the masters of our own evolution. That is one of the key beliefs and proponents to transhumanism, is that we are mastering our own evolution, which, as we all know, is a very ungodly belief system. Apart from being full of error, it's actually it's full of holes, isn't it? So that's one of their aims, is to take hold of their own evolution, and they don't want to remain human. Core to the belief is the idea that we can transcend human limitations by becoming transhuman. Okay, so at its core, there is a dissatisfaction with the human condition, a dissatisfaction with the world the way it is, and a desire to radically change it through transhumanist technologies. Okay. On the surface, it does say lots of really good things, like it's about human enhancement, about overcoming limitations, and there'll be certainly lots of things about all the good stuff it can do, such as maybe eradicating cancer, or um, putting chips in people's brains so they can use their limbs if they've lost a limb, use a limb implant and all that sort of thing. And they certainly tout great claims of things they can do to make the world a better place, such as directing evolution. But their view of the future is vastly different to your and my view of the future. That where they want this to lead to is a post-human future. Post-human. They literally don't like humans, and they want you and I to become post-human after becoming transhuman. And it's the idea that that God's design of us is not good enough, and therefore it needs improvement, and that we become our own gods. Okay, that's the idea of transhumanism. We become our own god. The technologies used are things such as genetic engineering, mRNA technology, whereby people's DNA is edited. Okay, biotechnology with the use of nanotechnology, the use of neural implants, and artificial intelligence. So it's not like I'm not talking to you about some crazy philosophy that's way out there that's going to happen in some distant future. And I'm not talking about some weird thing that they want to do on Mars, although Elon Musk has got some pretty bizarre aims like that. But I'm talking to you about something that's here right now. Already, the major world players are pushing you and I and all of us towards a transhuman future. So although on the surface they say it's a philosophical and cultural movement, and they show all the benefits of all the technologies and all the great claims that they have about everything, they're actually not telling you the whole story. They are not wanting our current world to stay as a democracy, but to push us towards a new future as a technocracy. A technocracy, a one that is governed by a few tech giants, and that uses technology to run everything. And we can see that already. taking shape with artificial intelligence, and most importantly, the arrival of some new technology that's just come out. It's been in the pipeline for a while, but very recently we've heard announcements from both the US and from the UK and from Australia, that digital IDs are going to be mandatory and compulsory for all workers. That was just being released from United Kingdom and from Australia, that they are really pushing hard the mandated and compulsory digital IDs, and that is 100% pushing hard in this direction. That is a transhumanist technology and in transhumanist direction, and that is the philosophy behind all of this change. Behind it is the transhumanist philosophy and their agenda 2030. You probably heard it referred in different ways, but it is all a transhumanist movement, wanting to completely redesign and reshape our world in every way possible. So it is interesting for me because God has revealed to me that this transhumanist movement is the movement and the technocracy that they are currently shepherding us into, with the use of digital IDs and the quantum dot transdermal patches on your hands. What did he call it? Bill Gates. Oh, the tattoos, electronic tattoos, something like that. That you won't need your smartphones or just use that. Well, what he's not telling you is that is a transhumanist technology, and that once you take that, you're becoming transhumanist. You're becoming a transhuman, okay? And the Neuralink, 100% transhumanist technology. All of this technocracy that they're seeking to, they are currently in the process of forming, sets the stage for the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. Transhumanism is the platform that the Antichrist stands on and that delivers the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is a transhumanist technology, and it is heavily tied into digital IDs, which will be the initial rollout stages, leading you into the full-blown Neuralinks. The Neuralinks are the mark of the beast. Okay? And this is what the Lord has revealed to me over many years. I've been watching this take place, unfold, and it is here now. Where do we see this talked about in the book of Revelation? Well, in book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16, it says, He causeth all, now this is the Antichrist, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. Well, that's exactly what they're saying, exactly what they're talking about, isn't it? And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And that sounds awfully similar to what is being said in the UK at the moment, that you must have a digital ID or else you can't work. Well, that's just sort of the initial stages, get everyone on board with that. And then before you know it, the implant will be in the hand, and then it will be connected with the Neuralink. So it's all shaping up exactly as it's described in the book of Revelation. Okay, now it's not going to happen instantly, but it will happen in stages. And I'm just letting you know that first stage is here in the form of digital IDs. First of all, we had COVID. Now, that was just a pre-run. That was just a trial run. That was just a test run to see what sort of social conditioning would be needed to get society to manipulate in the direction they wanted. They've done that as a test run now, and now they're ready for the next thing, which is the digital IDs. Okay, it's just the tightening of the net. Okay, the consolidation of information, the consolidation of power, and the technocracy that is the gradual technocracy which they are pushing for. One of the notable things that happens to people who take the mark of the beast is seen in Revelation chapter 16 in verse 2. So the first, this is talking about the judgments of God that are poured out on people who take the mark of the beast. And it says that foul and loathsome sores came upon the men who had the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. So there's actually something in the biology, in the technology, that irritates or upsets someone's system, and they actually develop sores from it. So that's not very nice. But most significantly in the book of Revelation, it's made very clear that anyone who takes the mark of the beast will not be forgiven. And that is a central theme that we see regarding the mark of the beast in the book of Revelation, that there is, that although they try to make everyone great and small to take the mark of the beast, that there is no coming back from taking it. And I wondered for a while, what is it about the mark of the beast that it is so unforgivable to take the mark of the beast? Well, I'm here to explain to you what it is. And the answer is the type of transhumanist technology that's used in it. So the type of transhumanist technology used in the brain Neuralink, and the level of and sophistication of that technology, and if you read about some of the transhumanist goals and aims that they have in general, I'll just change hands, is that this technology has the power to edit your emotions. That's one of the things that transhumanists are excited about. They're saying, wow, we'll be able to be masters of our own evolution to the point that they can select from an app on their phone, select their mood or emotion that they want to be experiencing. They're going to tout this as being absolutely incredible. Absolutely. They're going to try and make out that this is just like the best thing that's ever been invented, because it's going to have the power to do things like reverse Alzheimer's, delete painful memories, help people who have had trauma to deal with emotional issues. But the thing is that it can also be used in the reverse. If you're able to edit your emotions and select things and upload learning from the internet to your brain and upload stuff, then other things can also be subtracted, edited, deleted, manipulated, interfered with, and implanted in people's minds. So the reason why in the Bible it's so clear not to take the mark of the beast, the full-blown mark of the beast, the Neuralink, is that it will actually be, once it gets to its full-blown stage, it won't be in the initial stages, it won't be the full-blown stage, but all who take it will end up in the full-blown stage, is it will actually edit your free will, okay? In its full-blown expression, the mark of the beast edits people's free will and ability to think, feel, and make choices for themselves and to think for themselves, because that's the kind of technology that it is. So I just want to bring you a warning about transhumanism and the mark of the beast. And that warning that God showed me that in Genesis, that there's a warning for us about the mark of the beast in Genesis, actually, that he revealed to me that the final temptation is the same as the first temptation. So The final temptation of this age is to take the mark of the beast. That is the final temptation. And it is the same, it's a revisitation of the first temptation. So I want to direct you now to Genesis. In Genesis chapter 3, we hear exactly how the mark of the beast is going to be displayed and how it's going to be tempting people to take it. Okay? And I'm going to read to you from Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord had made. And he said to the woman, has God indeed said that you shall not eat of every tree in the garden? And that is going to be what people say. Has God really said not to take this? Like, is it really that bad? Has he really said that this is the mark of the beast? And they're going to be challenging, God like that, using that kind of language. And the woman said to the beast, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree of which is in the midst of the garden, God has said you shall not eat of it. So, and people are going to come back and go, well, yeah, you're not really supposed to take it, are you? Because it's the mark, it's told to put on your forehead and in your hand. So it is the mark of the beast and you're not meant to take it. Then the serpent said to the woman, this is in verse 4, chapter 3, verse 4, you will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. And this is the most important verse I want us to come to, verse 6. This is what God has really put on my heart. I can see it so clearly. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. The mark of the beast is going to look good, and it will be desirable to make one wise. It will look good, and it will be desirable to make one wise. That is the temptation. That is the final temptation that this world will face. The same, a revisitation of the first temptation in the Garden of Eden. And it is a temptation to make a judgment based on what their eyes can see, instead of what the Spirit of the Lord has revealed, and instead of what the Word of God has commanded. It says, do not touch the tree. Do not take the mark of the beast in the right hand or in the forehead. But there'll be people who say, oh, but it looks good. Yeah, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil did look good. The good was the deceptive part of the tree. I mean, would you ever do something if it didn't think it was good? Of course. People have made all sorts of wrong decisions and made bad choices because it looked good at the time. So good, that something looks good in your eyes, that is the deceptive element. And the Bible actually says that the people of the earth are deceived into taking the mark of the beast. Okay? So it will look good. But they're not showing you the full capabilities of the mark of the beast. But it is explained clearly in the Bible. And actually people, it gets pretty nasty. People get beheaded and all sorts for not taking the mark of the beast. Because this is quite a tyrannical kind of, this vision of transhumanism is an absolute lie. It's going to look amazing. They're going to say all sorts of wonderful things and spout lots of things. But the actual reality of it would be more like a digital prison than the amazing transhumanist utopia that they paint. It just will not be as they say. And that is in keeping with the temptation in the Garden of Eden. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil looked good. The fruit looked good and it looked desirable to make one wise. But the fruit of it was death. It released death, it brought about death, and it was evil. The root of the tree was evil. The root of transhumanism is evil. And The fruit of transhumanism will be death, and it will not give the amazing utopia that they promise. It will, just won't. Um, and this is already starting. They're already starting this year. The only ones who are going to survive, who are going to resist, are those who love not their life to the point, love not their life for the sake of the gospel, and they are willing to lay down their life to the point of death. They're the ones who don't take it. The ones who are willing to lay down their life for the sake of the gospel and the tribulation saints. They're the ones who won't take it. Okay? And I want to warn you, don't think that your church is going to be leading you necessarily in the right direction given this. Okay? Don't think that. It's really important that you develop your own relationship with the Lord, that you learn to hear his voice, that you're led by his spirit, and that you seek to know the truth yourself for yourself, and that you don't just blindly follow your church, because there are churches that are going to be reasoning within themselves, saying exactly as I just pointed out in Genesis, is it really the mark of the beast? Oh, it's not the mark of the beast because you're not being required to worship anything, and that sort of thing. Because in the initial stages you won't be. But once they have everyone on board, or as it gains traction, its full face will be expressed. Okay? So it looks good, but the fruit of it is evil, and it will unleash death. So I want to warn you all, don't take the mark of the beast, and don't jump on board with digital IDs or with the Neuralink, because this is where we are. We are right here in the book of Revelation, and that is where we live.